Hello, boys and girls. We are starting the first week of the new 6 weeks. You've already been through school for 5 weeks now, even though it doesn't feel like it because it's been kind of crazy. But how are you doing? Have you started figuring out all this crazy internet stuff? Hopefully, we'll be back in classes really soon. But for the moment, let's continue on with this week's downloadable lesson. All right, so here's what we're going to be doing. We are going to be singing some songs, and yes, I want you to sing through the songs. Have a good time. Music can be fun, and as the first song says, music changes everything. All right, then we're going to review beat and rhythm and meter. And then we're going to start something a little new just for the month of October. I think you will enjoy it. All right, so let's get started. I've got to switch some things around here. It'll just take me just a second and you'll still be able to hear me. All right, so we're going to sing a song and it's in my stack of videos here. This one right here. I'm not sure how long it'll take it to download. We'll find out. If it takes too long, I'll pause the recording. I now have that ability. It took me a little bit to figure that one out.
When I'm feeling gratitude, or I'm in a lousy mood, need a change of attitude, give me music. It can move me when I'm mad, cheer me up when I'm sad, and then fix all that is bad, give me music. Come and sing along with me, we can make some harmony, on a gloomy afternoon, all we need's a happy tune. Music changes everything. Music changes everything. Music changes everything. Whoa. Music changes everything. Music changes everything. Whoa. Music changes everything. Music changes everything. If you're feeling kind of blue and you don't know what to do, it can change your point of view. Give me music every day and every night. Be my dancing appetite when I want to feel alright. Give me music. Come and sing along with me. We can make some harmony on a gloomy afternoon. All we need's a happy tune. Music changes everything. Music changes everything. Music changes everything. Whoa. Music changes everything. Music changes everything. Whoa. Music changes everything. Music changes everything. Music changes everything. Music changes everything. Hakuna Matata! What a wonderful phrase! Hakuna Matata! Ain't no passing craze. It means no worries for the rest of your days. It's our problem-free philosophy. Hakuna Matata. Hakuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase. Hakuna Matata. Ain't no passing craze. Hakuna Matata, Hakuna Matata. Ta-ta. Have you ever heard of pumpkin bones? Pumpkin bones, pumpkin bones. Have you ever heard of pumpkin bones? He took all the pumpkins home. Have you ever heard of pumpkin bones? Pumpkin bones, pumpkin bones. Have you ever heard of pumpkin bones? He took all the pumpkins home. One fun night on Halloween, we were making pumpkin beef. Went to score a pumpkin catch, but someone picked the pumpkin patch. Oh no, what'll we do? We must find out who. Oh no, what'll we do? Where did all the pumpkins go? Have you ever heard of pumpkin bones? Pumpkin bones, pumpkin bones. Have you ever heard of pumpkin bones? He took all the pumpkins home. There he was, old pumpkin bones, had the pumpkins in his home. Bathroom, kitchen, 'twas insane. Pumpkin bones had struck again. Oh no, what'll we do now that we know? Oh no, what'll we do? How we gonna get them back? He went right up to his door, knocked and knocked some more. Heard the footsteps and the squeaks, laughter filled his plumpy cheeks. We said, pumpkin, that's not fair. Where we come from, we all share. Halloween's great, one thing we lack. Pumpkin, give the pumpkins back. Have you ever heard of pumpkin bones? Pumpkin bones, pumpkin bones. Have you ever heard of pumpkin bones? He put all the pumpkins back. There was an old woman, all skin and bones. Ooh. She lived down by the old graveyard. Ooh. One night she thought she'd take a walk. Ooh. She walked down by the old graveyard. Ooh. She saw the bones all lying around. Ooh. She went to the closet to get a broom. Ooh. She opened the door and boom!
All right. We're going to be talking about beat and rhythm and ostinatos. Do you remember what all three of those are? Let's go through them. A beat is steady. Ta, 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 ta. Just like on that bottom one right there. Ta, 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 ta. That is a steady beat. A rhythm is not steady. It has long and short sounds and silences. Look at the rhythm. Ta, sh, ta, ta. Teet, 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 ta. So you can if we do both of them at the same time, you have ta, 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 ta. There's your beat. Ta, ta, ta. T, 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 ta. I did it wrong, but we're going to do it again. Ta, ta, ta. T, 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 ta. To see how both of those, I kept the steady beat, but you can do a rhythm at the same time. All right, so they go together like peanut butter and jelly. Two different things, but they work. The rest of this page says we're going to do something with doggy doggy. We're not. I just wanted to remind you of what beat and rhythm were. Ostinato. Ostinato. Do you remember what an ostinato is? A beat is steady. A rhythm is not steady. It has long and short sounds and silences. An ostinato is a short, repeated pattern. A short, repeated pattern. A short, repeated pattern. A short, repeated pattern. Just over and over again. Okay, so let's look at some ostinatos that go with our next song, Ghost of John. All right, so we have ta, ta, sh, ta, 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 ta. John's ghost, shh, ghost of John. It's John's ghost, shh, ghost of John. It's John. You get the idea. The other one, there we go, is ta, 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 or whatever you choose to put on those. But before we do Ghost of John, let's go back to Pumpkin Bones. This has an ostinato that you've heard a million times. It goes like this. Or maybe you've heard that with we will rock you. Okay, but this is, have you ever heard of Pumpkin Bones? Pumpkin Bones, Pumpkin Bones. Have you ever heard of Pumpkin Bones? He took all the pumpkins home. Have you ever heard of Pumpkin Bones? Pumpkin Bones, Pumpkin Bones. Have you ever heard of Pumpkin Bones? He took all the pumpkins home. So you might want to come up with your own ostinato for Ghost of John instead of one of the two that I have come up with. Now, you know, you start out with John's go. What? I have to look at the song. It left my head. It starts out with a whisper. All right. But you don't have to do that. I mean, that could be an ostinato all the way through. So it's up to you what you want to put in as an ostinato. So we're going to find Ghost of John and we're going to sing it. And I want you to add an ostinato. Use your imagination. Be creative, but be correct. Because, you know, doing this and not being correct is not helpful at all, is it? Not usually. All right, here we go.
Have you seen the ghost of John? Long white bones with the skin all gone. Wouldn't it be chilly with no skin on? Ghost of John. Ghost of John. Have you seen the ghost of John? Long white bones with the skin all gone.
developing your ostinato? How did you do? I did several, and I know you could see it because I had my pop bottle and I had a notebook that I don't know if you could hear it or not, but it was there. All right, so we're moving on. Let's see what else we have to do. We've done Ghost of John. Now we're going to talk about a tone poem. So let me pull that up here just a second. All right, a tone poem. I'm not much on Halloween. I think I've told you that before. But it gives us a wonderful opportunity to listen to some great music that was designed to tell a story or create a picture in your mind. Now, as it's creating this picture or this design in your head, it's doing it with music all by itself, not words or anything else, just with sound. So, if you were to describe a sound, how would you describe, let's say, for instance, the sound of a trumpet? How would you describe the sound of a trumpet? Okay, tone poems are going the other way. It's describing a sunset with music. It's describing a person with music. It's describing an atmosphere with music. All right, so what we're going to do is, this was a very popular style of music in the mid to late 1800s. Music back then, it was just very passionate and had a lot of drama and emotion in it. So we're going to be listening to some well-known pieces of music, which we call tone poems, or sometimes they're called symphonic poems. We're going to be listening to a few. All right, so let's get started. We're going to pull up a specific composer, and I'll have him here in just a second. All right, our first composer is Modest Mussorgsky. He was from Russia. He lived in the 1800s. He lived from 1839 to 1881. He died when he was 42. He was in the Russian military, and he wrote music that he wanted to express the Russian people and their culture. He is known as one of the Great Five. Now, he lived in that time period, that 1800 time period, where music, they tried to make their music sound like something. This particular song was a song, it's called Night on Bald Mountain, and it is a song to show a Halloween party on Halloween on the top of Bald Mountain. Let's see what kind of picture or image it creates in your head. It might not be a party to you at all. It might be something else. So close your eyes and listen to the music and see what kind of picture Night on Bald Mountain makes in your head. I honestly don't think that the recording is as great as the music is. The music is wonderful. It's hard to capture all those fantastic sounds when you're in a recording like this. So, if you have the capability of getting on a phone or online and listening to some of his music, pictures at an exhibition or something like that, it's wonderful music that creates these beautiful pictures in your head. All right. The next composer that I wanted to look at, hold on just a second, let me pull him up. Our next composer is Camille Saint-Saëns. He is from France, and he lived in the 1800s too. And he has to be probably one of my most favorite composers. His imagination and the way he used his music is just fascinating to me. He sat at a zoo and he sat and he watched an animal until he thought, okay, I can go home and I can write a piece of music, or even right there in a sketchbook. He can write a piece of music that was intended to sound like that animal. And he could put a whole group of songs together called Carnival of the Animals. And it was just from him sitting at the zoo. He did this for friends. He never expected it to be famous. And this is one of his most famous pieces of work. I'm going to play just one little piece from that and not even the whole thing. It's called The Aquarium. You know what an aquarium is, right? It's a big tank of fish. All right, so he is at the aquarium in the 1800s and he's watching the fish. And this is the sound that he comes up with what the fish sound like. All right, so what'd you think? What did that sound like to you? Did it sound like water and the bubbles and the fish? It's interesting to think about what you might think of when you hear a piece of music. What kind of picture? Can you be wrong? Well, of course not. You can't be wrong. It's what your head creates. It's your imagination. Now, Mr. Sanson, he was what we call a child prodigy. That means he was extremely good at something at a very young age. He started picking out songs on a piano by the age of 2.5. He could sit and pick out songs on the piano that people knew what he was playing. By the age of 3.5, 4 years old, he was able to play the piano. By 5, he was playing for friends and family. By 10, he was playing in public. He was always very good at what he did. But his imagination in music just blows me away. I'm going to play one of my favorites, and it's odd that this is a favorite of mine because I don't do much on Halloween. But just the whole idea and the theme of everything. So we're going to look at it. It'll take me just a second to pull it up. All right, he wrote a piece of music called Danse Macabre. Danse Macabre means Dance of the Dead. Now, let me tell you the story. There was a poem that he heard when he was a young boy, and he liked the poem so much that he decided that he was going to write a piece of music to go with the poem that kind of told the story of the poem. All right, so we are going to listen to this crazy little cartoon characters tell about this. And the two cartoon characters, you can see them in the top corner of the purple page. You have Mike the microphone and Luigi's baton. It's the conductor's baton, and they are going to tell you about Danse Macabre, and then we're going to listen to just a little bit of smidget of it. So I will help you as we go, listen to it, and see if you can figure out what you're listening to. So let's listen to the Luigi and Mike.
Winter wind blows and the night is dark. Moans are heard in the linden trees. White skeletons pass through the gloom, running and leaping in their shrouds.
Hey, little buddy, what are you doing?
What do you think I'm doing, Mike? I'm reciting a spooky poem here.
Well, cut it out. You're scaring me. And some of our listeners, too, I'll bet.
But, Mike, I gotta get in the mood for the music we're gonna hear today. Listen to this. Zig, zig, zig. Each one is frisking. You can hear the cracking of the bones of the dancers.
Cut it out. Who wants to hear a song about dancing skeletons?
I do. You do. We all do. It's Camille Saint-Saëns's Danse Macabre, and it's wonderfully chilling.
You're scaring me. Besides, I thought we were doing music for movies this year.
Well, even though Danse Macabre was written in 1874, before movies were even invented, it's still used today to enhance a suspenseful scene. For example, Hugo.
No, Hugo.
No, Mike. Danse Macabre was used in the movie Hugo. Remember the orphan Hugo who lived in the walls of the train station in Paris during the 1930s? His job was to oil and maintain the station's clocks.
Oh, Hugo.
No, Hugo! I got you there, didn't I, Mike? Ah!
Okay. Can we just listen to the music?
Sure, Mike. But, Mike?
What is it, little buddy?
Will you hold my hand during the really scary parts?
Sure. You have hands?
I'm a cartoon, Mike. I have whatever it takes. Come on, let's listen. Ladies and gentlemen, Danse Macabre by Camille Saint-Saëns. He's French.
The clock clock striking 12. And you're going to have footsteps. And Death rosins up his bow and gets ready to play. You're right here. This little creature hears the flutes. Oops, I'm sorry. Not sure what happened. Here we go. Remember, the bats are the strings. Now you're going to hear the skeletons. Listen. Oh, the skeletons. All right. If we were to listen to it all, you would have heard all of the dead come to life and start whirling around Death the violinist, and at the end you hear the rooster crow, and they all have to go back to their places because morning has come and they have to go back to their places for another year. Very exciting piece of music. You can listen to it and hear and just imagine all of this stuff going on in your head. All right, so I've got one more song I'm going to play for you, and then I'm going to tell you what you have to do for me this week. We haven't had anything you've had to submit yet. I've just had you listening and following along. So you got one more thing that we're going to sing one more song, and then we're going to follow along. We're going to listen and figure out what we have to do for this week. All right, so hold on just a second, and I'll have you back in just a second.
From the Rose period,
1600 to 1750,
classical period,
1750 to 1820,
romantic period,
1820 to 1910,
NUSICAMPERIODS, NUSICAMPERIODS. Baroque was a fancy time, Bach was in his prime. The fancy Baroque period, Baroque was a fancy time, Bach was in his prime. The fancy Baroque period, NUSICAMPERIODS. Classical had gardens and had boys, perfection, beauty, symmetry, not noise. Classical had gardens and had boys, perfection, beauty, symmetry, not noise. Romantic period, bigger and more grand. Passion and love of love, always at hand. M-U-S-I-C-A-M-P-E-R-I-O-D-S, M-U-S-I-C-A-M-P-E-R-I-O-D-S, like a rose period.
1600 to 1750.
Classical period.
1750 to 1820.
Romantic period.
1820 to 1910.
Oh, so I hope that gives you an idea of what we're going to be moving into when we're done with all of this. All right. The last thing that we are going to be doing, let me pull it up. All right. We are going to listen to some music. This is what I want you to do. I want you to just close your eyes and I want you to hear the music and let it create visions in your head and make you think of things and colors and just whatever. Okay? You can't be wrong. You can be way out there in left field somewhere, but you can't be wrong. So I have 3 songs that we're going to listen to. And remember, we've already listened to 2. We've listened to Night on Bald Mountain, or at least a little teeny part of it. And then we listened to Aquarium. Do you remember Aquarium by Camille Saint-Saëns? The one that made it sound like, it was supposed to sound like you were in the water and the bubbles and all that. Okay, this next one, you got Nocturne. We're going to listen to Nocturne. And it's by Chopin. Chopin was a very famous, not only composer, but pianist. So we're going to listen to a piece of music called Nocturne. And then we have a few more to listen to after that.